All right, welcome. Let's think of this as our own private little book club. And the book we're cracking open today, it's the one that basically runs all of our lives, money. We're going to look at it through a financier's lens and really peel back the layers on what is probably humanity's biggest and, most successful illusion. So let's dive right in. So, if I were to ask you, what do you think is humanity's single greatest invention? What pops into your head? Most of us, right? We'd probably think of something real, something tangible, fire maybe. I mean, it gave us warmth, protection, cooked food, huge deal. Or what about the wheel? The thing that literally got our entire civilization rolling. Both fantastic answers, but there's another one we tend to overlook. That invention might just be money. But here's the crazy part. Unlike fire or the wheel, money isn't real. You can't touch it in the same way. At its core, it's just a powerful, shared idea that all of us have collectively agreed to believe in. It's an illusion. And understanding that illusion is really the first step to mastering the financial game. Now, to really get why this invention was such a game changer, we've got to rewind the clock. We need to go back to a time before money even existed. A time of direct trade, what we now call the barter system. And as you're about to see, it was a ridiculously complicated puzzle to solve. Okay, imagine this. You're an expert tent maker and your shoes are falling apart. You find a shoemaker, and guess what? He needs a new tent. Perfect, right? Well, not so fast. Would you really trade an entire tent, a whole living space, for one simple pair of shoes? No way. This is what we call the problem of value asymmetry. Without some common way to measure value, trades were just totally unfair most of the time. And believe it or not, that wasn't even the biggest problem. For any trade to actually happen, you needed what economists have a fancy term for, a double coincidence of wants. Think about it. You had to have exactly what I wanted, and I had to have exactly what you wanted at the exact same time and place. The odds of that happening consistently? Almost zero. It's just incredibly inefficient. So yeah, the barter system was completely broken. Forget the value and coincidence problems for a second. How could you even store your wealth? If you're a tomato farmer, you can't save your summer earnings for the winter. They just rot. Your entire life savings could literally turn to mush. And if you had a really specific niche skill, man, good luck finding someone who needs that skill and also has something you want in return. Humanity desperately needed a better way. And so humanity came up with its first major software update, if you will. We started to move away from direct, clunky bartering and towards the very first forms of money, using things that pretty much everybody agreed were valuable. People started to figure out that certain things were always in demand, things like salt, weapons, pretty shells. So even if you didn't need salt right now, you'd take it as payment because you knew, for sure, that someone else would want it later. It became a kind of placeholder for value, a physical IOU. And this idea just took off and evolved over time. We went from basic bartering to using these common items like salt and shells. And then boom, a major breakthrough. Around 770 BC in China, the first metal coins started to show up. And then, not long after, around 600 BC in a place called Lydia, which is now modern-day Turkey, we get the world's first official government mint. Now this is the most important concept to grasp at this stage. This early money was not an illusion. It had real, physical, intrinsic value. A coin made from 1 gram of gold was valuable because it contained 1 gram of gold. You could melt it down into a little lump and you'd still have the exact same amount of wealth. Simple as that. But this is where our story takes a huge, dramatic turn. This is the moment money stopped being a physical thing and transformed into a completely abstract idea. This is the moment the great illusion was born. See, rulers pretty quickly figured out the power they had. They wanted more money, more coins, but gold and silver were hard to find. So, what they do? They started to cheat. They began mixing cheaper metals like bronze or copper into their gold and silver coins. And just like that, a coin was no longer worth the metal inside it. Its value was now simply whatever the ruler declared it to be. This single act of just declaring value gave birth to the system we all live in today, fiat currency. The word fiat actually comes from Latin, and it means let it be done. It is money that has value simply because a government says so. It's not backed by gold or silver or anything physical. It's backed only by our collective trust in that government. So that brings us all the way to the modern world and to the consequences of this system. I mean, think about it. If money is just an idea that a government can declare into existence, what's to stop that government from just creating more of it? The answer is absolutely nothing.
Just take a look at this number. Let that sink in for a second. 40%. What on earth do you think that represents?
Get this. That number represents one of the most mind-blowing statistics in modern finance. In a recent 18-month window, 40% of all US dollars that have ever existed were created. Just poof, printed out of thin air. That's the power of the fiat system running at full throttle.
And an action like that has a direct, unavoidable consequence: inflation. It's simple, really. When you flood the system with way more money, but the amount of actual stuff to buy stays about the same, each of those dollars becomes less powerful. It's like adding a ton of water to a glass of juice. Yeah, you have more liquid, but it's way weaker. Your money buys less.
So you might think, okay, I'll be smart about this. I'll put my money in a safe investment, like a government bond. Well, let's look at the math. A recent 10-year US bond paid you about 1.23%. But the government's own stated goal for inflation is around 2%. That means even when you play by their rules and invest safely, you are guaranteed to be losing buying power. Your money is worth less and less over time. It's a trap.
Okay, so this is the part of our book club where we get to the what do we do about it section. Knowing all of this, what's the financer's playbook? How do you actually operate in a system that seems designed to make your savings worth less?
First things first, you have to completely change your mindset. This is not about getting rich quick. You have to see it as a game, but the main goal isn't really to win. It's to avoid a total loss. It's a defensive strategy, first and foremost.
And here are the 3 basic rules to that strategy. Rule 1, you have to see money as a tool, not a treasure to be hoarded. Its value is temporary. It's meant to be used. Rule 2, you have to accept that inflation is a constant. It's a feature, not a bug of this system. That cash in your bank account, it's a melting ice cube. And rule 3, you have to acquire assets. You have to trade that melting currency for things that appreciate or at least hold their value faster than inflation. Things like stocks, real estate, hard assets. This is it. This is the single most important thing to take away from our whole chat today. Every single second you store your wealth in cash, it is being silently devalued. When new money gets printed, it actively steals a tiny bit of value from all the old money that already exists. That includes the money sitting in your account, which leaves us with a final, really big question. This system, where holding cash makes you poorer over time, it tends to make people who own assets richer, while leaving behind those who just have savings. So will that gap between the rich and the poor just keep getting wider? Or are we as a society going to find a way to fix this monetary game, a problem that's as old as civilization itself? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this one.